Campbell's?
Oh, I bumped my mic. Happy Saturday, everybody. Hello, hello. We're back with Pros and Consoles, where I'm a nerd and I break down nerdy story. And we're in winter in the first Last of Us. The first part of Last of Us, excuse me. So that's where we left off last week. And we'll just play through and I'll talk story. I hope my sound is fine. I hope my picture is fine. Still getting the hang of it. Here we go. Hey, Halo. Thank you for liking my shirt. I like this shirt too. Is sound coming through? Yes, it is. R.I.P. Little Rabbit.
This won't last very long. You'll just startle it.
I'm so impressed that the horse just, stays.
Where'd you go?
Also, Ellie, how do you exactly think you're gonna drag this giant, deer or buck,
There you are.
back from wherever you take it from? So we started to talk about it a little bit last week, but I love that we now get to play from Ellie's perspective, because this is the first time in the game that we're really playing as anybody but Joel, except at the beginning when you play as Sarah. And it's now Ellie's time to kind of to take the reins of the story, and we'll talk about that a little bit more when we play Left Behind, because of course that's a lot of her perspective as she, spoiler, takes care of Joel in winter. But she's a nice change from Joel. Her gameplay mechanics are a little bit different.
Steady.
And
Gotcha.
who followed? Last of Us E2 followed. Thank you for following. Hope you had a lovely week and that you're having a good Saturday. Or maybe it's not Saturday where you are. Maybe it's Sunday. But I hope you're having a good weekend. Or comes when people whistle, blows my mind. I know. Horses, man. She's more agile. Yeah. Ahmed, how you doing? How you doing, buddy, pal? That is you. Yes, I realized that after I said your name. I was like, oh, I do know this person. But I like sort of the quiet stalk through. Oh, he's limping. Oh, I think I missed him. Yeah, come on, Ellie. That had nothing to do with me at all. That was all you. But I like the quiet stalking through the woods, and it's a nice change from where we just came from oh, I'll take you. In the university where, you're kind of barreling through. Hello, Fabricio? Did I say that right? It's very small on my screen. But thank you for following, and hello. Dab emote, yes, get it. Yeah, I like that Ellie's a little bit more agile, and I think it's so interesting, especially in this first game, because I'm playing through part 2 right now. I'm still doing my grounded run because I don't have that much time to play it. And how different she is, even just a little bit, even just a couple of years. It's like she's more steady and more agile in 2 than she even is in 1. It's like having to get used to how she's a little unsteady hand-wise. It's like I can feel the controller, and I can feel the wavering a little bit that she goes through as I try to like steady the shot.
Oh, man.
I like how Ellie is stalking here, and then too Abby's learning how to track. Yeah, I think it's a nice mirror, and I'll talk about that a lot in 2 because there's a lot of mirroring that goes on between Ellie and Abby, but it's nice to even see it here. And how quiet Ellie is. How quiet Ellie is here in comparison to, like, the rest of the game where she's making puns and doing all this stuff and sort of talking to Joel and trying to get him to talk, and how when she's on her own, she's quite quiet. I mean, of course, she's stalking prey, so it's not like she's going to be like, hello, but...
Are you still alive?
It's a big animal, Ellie. Hey, Furious, how you doing? Welcome in. Welcome. But at this point in the game, it's a nice, you've been playing as Joel for so many hours and building this relationship with Ellie, and it's nice at this point to have this switch, and I think it comes at the perfect time because you've built so much of a relationship between Joel and Ellie, and now we switch, and not only are we super protective of Ellie because we've come to love her so much as we've played and had her following us throughout the game, but now we're actually in a position of playing as Ellie as opposed to just protecting her, so we kind of get an even stronger connection to her as a character. Yeah, this place is not creepy at all, Ellie. Not at all. Something bad is definitely not about to happen.
Oh.
It's as though she knows the gravity of the situation. I'm in charge. I have to save Joel. I have to get us food. Yeah.
Who's there?
Yeah. This
Come
really
out.
galvanizes the connection. Yeah, it really does.
Hello? We just want to talk.
This
Any
guy,
sudden moves and I put one right between your eyes. Ditto for buddy boy over there.
he's not...
What do
He
you
doesn't
want?
give off a weird vibe at all.
Name's David. This here's my friend James. From a larger group. Women, children. They're all very, very hungry.
So am I. Women and children, all very hungry too.
Well, maybe we could trade you for some of that meat there. What do you need? Weapons, ammo, clothes.
Medicine.
I like that she's immediately standoffish.
You have any antibiotics?
We do.
But that
Yeah.
the minute that
Welcome,
she's
follow us
I'm
back.
not following you anywhere.
presented with the opportunity to help
Buddy boy
Joel
can go
more,
get
she
it.
jumps at the chance.
He comes back with what I
But will
need.
not follow
Dear is
them
all
because
yours.
she's smart.
Anyone else shows up,
You put one right between my eyes.
And
right.
it's a great thing to have immediately after we go through this woods
Bottles of
section.
penicillin in a syringe. Make it fast. Go on.
To have this particular scene with these two guys who are bigger than Ellie, older than Ellie, scarier than Ellie, and for
take
her
that
to
right.
really hold her own and to be like, I'll barter with you, but I'm not going to follow you anywhere. It gives us,
back up.
as an audience and as a player, even more of a deeper understanding of Ellie, or even more of a deep understanding of Ellie. Ellie's default position is confrontational. Yes, it is.
It's probably gonna be a while.
Ellie is very much a person that
Take some shelter from the
follows
cold?
her own inner compass,
Bring him with us.
which a lot of people do in this world because they have to. You know, it's like, it's not like they have anything else governing them. But it's a characteristic that I personally know well. And so I relate to Ellie very strongly.
You know, you really shouldn't be out here all on your own.
I don't like company.
Yeah, I love how she becomes the protector, the provider. Yeah, she really
What's
does.
your name?
And it's a switch between
Why?
Joel and Ellie, and it's nice to have here at this
Look,
point
I
in the story.
understand it's not easy to trust a couple of strangers.
You know, it comes at a really good time.
Whoever's hurt, you clearly care about them. I'm sure it's gonna be just fine.
We'll see.
I also like, and it's I don't know if subtle's the right word, but Ellie doesn't ever let go of the rifle. You know, it's like they're even talking in front of the fire. And they're sitting together and they're having a conversation, but she still
another
is in
gun?
this default position of having the
Sorry.
rifle.
I'd really like my rifle back now.
No, you have your pistol.
Yeah, she always has some sort of a weapon. She's always
Had some
in a
practice.
protective stance. Whether it's the switchblade at the first time with Marlene, and when she meets Bill, you know, she hits him with the pipe. She's always in a place of protecting.
Cover the windows.
Okay. Done this before.
Behind you. Infected inside.
Yeah, thanks, David. Oh, right, I can't dodge. Oh, come on. What did I shoot through him?
You weren't kidding. You're a better shot with that thing than I am.
Yeah, literally anyone is, David.
Give me a hand with this.
Also, Nolan North is just fantastic in this. He really is. He's so fantastic as this character. You know, for the live action, I keep saying that I really see John Hawkes. But Nolan really bringing this character to life is lovely. That was an arm shot. That took out that clicker. I mean, I'm not gonna complain, but dang. Sheila! Followed like a rock star. Hey, Sheila.
Infected on this side. Big cat. You must follow us. On your left.
Maybe they followed you and your friend.
You know what, David? I'm busy. Okay, well, that's fine too. I forget how many supplies you get when you're playing on a slightly easier setting. It's just so many supplies. So many.
We're getting out of this room.
Fucking infected. Yeah, that's real, Ellie.
Cover the stairs. Follow me through here.
Okay. Do you know where you're going?
Just set foot in this place.
Oh, great.
Oh, right. I've played this game so many times, and I always forget about this section before you get to, like, the back room or whatever it is. Every time I forget about this.
How are you holding up?
You don't need to worry about me.
Which is funny because it's actually a really important section because they get separated. And Ellie jumps on something and falls down because she always does.
Hey kid, you alright?
I'm fine.
That's a running theme of Ellie having the floor literally taken out from underneath her, and if that's not a metaphor for Ellie's life, what is? I like how you are sneaky, but also kind of loud. It's like Ellie is sneaky, but she's a little loud when she attacks things. It's fine. Anyway, from a story standpoint, having them get separated at this point, they haven't known each other that long, but there's sort of a running theme of separation in this game consistently. A lot of it is Joel and Ellie, but it happens with other characters too, and having it happen here, with David is interesting because Ellie is a little bit different than Joel in terms of, I've discussed a couple of times that Joel forges relationships a lot through combat. And not that Ellie doesn't, because I think everybody in some capacity in this world kind of does and has to in some way. Because that's the world in which they live. But Ellie's relationship to building bonds is a little bit different. And she at no point really truly trusts David because she just gets a weird vibe because she's smart. Because David's a weird dude. And whereas Joel is wary of people and a little more standoffish, as we were talking about in chat earlier, Ellie is kind of immediately confrontational with everybody. Not to the point that she's necessarily gonna immediately kill someone in this game that she doesn't trust. But she is on her guard. Look at all these supplies.
We need to get up there. There. That ladder could work.
Oh, a ladder. I do this every time. I've played this game like 19 times. Where are the stairs?
Here, come here, boost me up.
Brick, I finished your message. I just want to say how much I appreciated your insight and how you expressed a lot of points which I had a difficult time articulating. You highlighted a lot of symbolism that I hadn't noticed as well. Facts. Facts, Furious. It was so well done. So bravo. Oh, thank you. Thank you, y'all.
Keep a lookout for those things.
No.
I had a lot of fun writing that message, and it's still, some of the ideas are still a little messy, especially because I actually wrote that essay before I think I had played it even a second time. I wrote that basically after my first playthrough. And so there are a couple of things that I think are a little bit messy, or a couple of things that I think that I could add to more, especially in terms of Abby's stuff. Because, I think everything essentially that I said is true of Abby. But I think that I could go a little bit more in detail with her story. I was so focused on a lot of Ellie's story, which I always kind of am because I connect with her so strongly. But maybe I'll flesh it out a little bit and talk a little bit more about Abby, because I do adore her as a character, and I think she's so complex and so fascinating. And I'll certainly talk about her more, when we get to part 2. But yeah, she's interesting, and she and Ellie are very, very fascinating mirrors for each other, which I dig. If that was after just one playthrough, the insight is all the more impressive. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. That's it's one of my strengths is understanding story and metaphor. And it's something that I really enjoy doing as well. As a storyteller, my brain just can't help it. It's how it sees the world.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, right? No shit, David. I also I've talked about this a little bit in other playthroughs.
Jeez. Looks like someone already fought those things and lost.
So many supplies. Yeah, I've talked about this particular thing in some of the other playthroughs. But there's a good balance here in part 1 between playing against people and playing against infected. And I think it's
Keep your eyes open,
a very good choice to have them
See anything?
to put the two of them together fighting infected right now, because there's this sort of underlying thing where David's a little creepy. You don't necessarily trust him, but you're thrown into this situation where you have to fight these infected, and you have to do it together, and you're trying to keep each other alive. No? All right, well, fine.
You hear that? They're on the roof.
I know.
But you don't quite know if you trust him either, but you have to for the moment to sort of get through the gameplay, obviously. Ah, shoot. Oh, shit. Nobody asked you, bro. Oh, okay.
We're doing fine.
It doesn't feel like it.
Here come more.
How many of these things are there?
No idea. Just keep at it.
But it builds an intensity in terms of the amount of infected that you're playing, and it's also the first time you're sort of getting attacked by this horde of infected. And then the second time it's a little bit sneakier, and then we're in this third wave here where they keep coming and keep coming. Shoot. Oh god, I died. That's what I get when I'm trying to talk about story and play at the same time. I kind of don't want to help. I kind of just want to die. Ah, shit.
That doesn't sound good.
It's a bloater!
What?
One of those big fucking guys!
Oh, that's not what I wanted to do, but that's fine. It worked anyway. That's what I get. This is where I'm stuck on Grounded, effing David. Yeah, this is hard on Grounded. I've played this through a couple of times on Grounded, and it's really brutal. Oh, okay. Sir. It's very rude. Yep, I heard it.
The bloater! What? One of those big fucking guys.
Where'd you go? Oh, damn it, Ellie. I mean, that was me. I don't know why I'm complaining like it was her. Ooh. All right, sir.
Kid?
Yeah? Like we killed all of them? More like disbelief.
Anyway, so now I can go back to talking story a little bit. Hi, Brick. Hi. Hello. Jolly? Jolly? I want to say your name right. I'm terrible with names. But yep, awesome. I am so glad that I said that correctly. And so having all of that playthrough here sort of gives us a sense of, okay, you know, they did fight to keep each other alive, so something's going on here. But David's still kind of creepy. And I think it's like a nice 3 tiers of gameplay. And to push the story along in terms of like, okay, you really get a sense of how to play as Ellie from like a gameplay mechanics perspective. But as we talked about, we also get this sense of, okay, very quickly in that first scene, she doesn't trust David. She's still holding the gun in the moment before we get into this fight with all of these infected. And we're going through and we're playing to fight all of these infected to get through and survive. But there's still something that's questionable, which is, I think, it adds a nice tension as opposed to like us playing against people. I think it's smart to have us playing this like horde of infected. The meat shield strat was most effective for me. Yeah, that's definitely most effective and grounded.
All right. Let's head on back. Check on that buck of ours. Well, you handled yourself pretty nice back there. Whew. I'd say we make a pretty good team.
We got lucky.
Lucky? No.
I also like that Ellie in these
such thing
scenes
as
she
luck.
has her shield up.
You see,
Now
I
we've
believe
gotten to a point where she does
happens
put the gun down. Like she puts the weapon down a little bit to warm herself up, but she's still on her guard. She's still not like, yeah, okay, I'm going to trust you.
Now, this winter, that's been especially cruel. A few weeks back, I sent a group of men out nearby town to look for food. Only a few came back.
Oh, it's David. Oh, it is.
They said that the others had been slaughtered by a crazy man. Get this, he's a crazy man traveling with a little girl. You see,
I love Ellie's face there.
everything happens for a reason.
And she picks up the gun immediately.
Don't get upset. It's not your
All
fault.
these little moments like outside of dialogue. I love stuff like that.
James, lower the gun.
No way, David. I'm not gonna let her go.
Lower the gun. Now give her the medicine.
The others won't be happy about this.
Yeah, well, that's not your concern.
I like that we get a sense of, okay, there are
Get
others.
the fuck out of the way.
You know, it's like, who knows, he may have been lying. But there's sort of a
survive
sense of
long
like, yes, there are others.
I can protect you.
I don't want you to protect me. Like, Ellie's fine. Thanks, bro. But I like that there's a little bit of a sense of, there's a little bit of like naivete as Ellie leaves. I mean, she has to leave. I would leave. You know, it's like that's really the only choice you have is to go. But there's a little bit of a sense, I think, for Ellie of like, okay, I have to run. I have to get away from these people. But also, they're letting me go. Are they scared of me? Are they, you know, whatever? Am I just going? And doesn't really necessarily consider their master plan behind giving her the medicine in the first place, which we'll get to. You know, it's like Ellie's first and immediate concern is, okay, I have the medicine, I have to get back to Joel, which of course it is. Like,
Joel?
it's not stupidity on her part or anything. It's like she has to get back. She has to give him the medicine. She can't be
I only managed to
stalking
get my
around
food.
for days and days trying to hide her tracks.
But I did get this.
Hmm.
Move your arm.
And just the realization that, like, she did that. Like, she had to sew him up. Pretty good job, Ellie. It's a pretty good deal. You did pretty good. I mean, not a good deal, but you did good.
Sorry. Hold on. That's it. You're gonna make it.
The arm, the hand. I love that. I love that scene. I think it says so much about their relationship and that Ellie, like, has become the protector and Joel can't even really open his eyes and he's in this place of clearly very, you know, almost delusional probably if he did open his eyes. And that she sets up like her own little camp beside him to watch over him. Yeah, they did track you. Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna draw them away from here. I'll come back for you.
And how now she even goes a step further, in terms of like, I'm gonna draw them away. I'm gonna keep you safe. More than just sewing you up and getting you medicine, but I'm gonna protect you from these people, which we've seen Joel do a couple of times at this point from other people for Ellie, and now she's really like, I will do whatever I have to do. I will pull them away from you, however I have to do it.
Hey, I got him!
You know what, dude? No one likes you.
What are you waiting for? Shoot her! But David said... Fuck David! Shoot her now! Don't let him run!
What do they want from us?
I like that this guy like hopped on this horse when really clearly it's more like the horse would have run him over. So many of them.
What do they want?
Don't shoot the horse. So many R.I.P. horses in this game. Mama's switchblade certainly comes in handy. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're going to talk a lot about that switchblade, especially when we get to 2.
She fell down the hill somewhere. I don't see her though.
You know what, dude? Oh, for all of you that may not have stopped by the stream before, I do dramatic readings of artifacts that we get because I think they're fun. So let's do the note from Ellie's mom. Ellie, I'm going to share a secret with you. I'm not a big fan of kids and I hate babies. And yet, I'm staring at you and I'm just awestruck. You're not even a day old, and holding you is the most incredible thing I've done in my life. A life that is about to get cut a little short. Marlene will look after you. There's no one in the world I trust more than her. When the time comes, she'll tell you about me. Don't give her too much of a hard time. Try not to be as stubborn as me. I'm not gonna lie, this is a pretty messed up world. It won't be easy. The thing you always have to remember is that someone is creeping around and I'm still doing this reading and it's fine.
Oh shit!
I'm totally gonna die because I wanted to do that reading. We'll go back to it. Oh, dramatic readings. I'll have to see it. Somebody. Ah, yes. R.I.P. dramatic reading. We will come back to you. It really did take that guy a little bit of a long time to find me, though, to be fair. Alright, bro. You know what? Usually, I think I've said this in a couple of the other streams, usually I'm much sneakier than I seem to be in this playthrough. But, you know, try out different tactics or whatever, it's fine.
Search the area.
Okay. Where do we go?
I didn't even know it was her mother's blade until I read American Dreams, yeah. I love that comic. I want more Last of Us comics. Mainly because I want to write for them, but shh. Oh, balls. Oh, okay. Well, all right. I mean, I'll take it, but geez. I was standing right in front of that guy. He's blind, huh? Yeah.
Nothing. What about you?
Nothing here either. Well, let's keep looking. Let's go check the building. You, go check over that way.
Look at all of you. All of you.
Out for anything yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love when Ellie's really proud of herself. I think it's totally adorable.
Holy shit!
Well, gotta get that now. The game owns my wallet. Doesn't it own all of our wallets? Our collective wallet. Except I seem to remember being reminded that we should be fiscally responsible. I do believe someone out there has told us to be fiscally responsible. Gosh, I can't remember who. If only I could remember. No, I don't want I want the brick. Shocking, I know that I want the brick, but I love that that as we move further into this this protective Ellie idea, you know, that the first time that we really play as Ellie, okay, we're stalking through the woods and we're like stalking this deer, and then we play alongside David to fight the infected, and then oh, okay, rude, sir. Anyway, we play alongside David to fight the infected, and now we've gotten to the point where we're fighting David's people, and so we're back to fighting people. And I can't express enough how much I enjoy the dichotomy in that gameplay. Because I also think it's nice for Ellie to get the sort of the recognition for herself of, yep, you know what, I thought this dude was a bad dude, and I was right. I know I could keep going and just, like, skip doing all of this, but, you know. Oh, all right. Sir. Two can play at that game. Bye. Last of Us related laptop stickers. Yes, I just walked into that wall because I got excited about it. It's fine. Look at all these supplies just like lying around.
Nature track. Okay, that should get me out of here.
We're gonna finish this dramatic reading. I'm not gonna lie, this is a pretty messed up world. It won't be easy. The thing you have to remember is that life is worth living.
Trying to make you proud.
Find your purpose and fight for it. I see so much strength in you. I know you'll be... Oh, I know you'll turn out to be the woman you're meant to be. Forever, your loving mother, Anna. Make me proud, Ellie. I love this note, and I love that it's sort of hidden in her backpack. And I think it really mirrors so much of sort of conversations that she has with Joel, in terms of, you know, you have to remember life is worth living, you find your purpose and fight for it. And that's something that Ellie, we will talk about this probably to no end as we get through the rest of this game and Left Behind and Part 2, that Ellie is compelled above almost all else to find meaning and for her life to mean something. It's almost an obsession, but I don't like to call it that, because I would rather call it that she is just like, she has this compulsion to find meaning, and that everything that she does needs to mean something, and everything that she is needs to mean something. And I think for the age that she is, especially in 1 here, 14, and then ending at 15 at the end of the game, that it's it's big. Like, she feels like it has to mean something big. And part of that, I think, is inside of her. And then part of it, I think, is because there is this thing that has been pushed on her in terms of, oh, okay, here you are, you're a teenager, a young teenager, and guess what? You're going to be like this savior for humanity. Cool. And so there is this complex that she develops, which has a lot to do with choices that she makes in 2, because she very rarely thinks that she has choice. That's a big thing for Ellie. There are so many things in her life that have happened to her that have not been her quote-unquote choice. And so she doesn't quite understand what it means to be able to make her own choices, even though she makes them all the time. Whether, she doesn't quite understand it. It makes me think of the last cutscene in 2. Yeah, my life would have fucking mattered. And this feeling that she has that somehow, unless she does something big, and there's like a big meaning to her life, that it doesn't matter, which is so sad. And something that really drives her, and something that is so compelling about Ellie. This complex that she's developed in terms of, being the savior of humanity, or whatever it is, because she's immune. The fact that there are so many things in her life and in Jackson and everything into, I don't want to get too much into it, but Ellie, like, you matter whether or not you're immune. And I think it's so sad that she doesn't necessarily think she matters outside of being the one that's immune. And I think it's so hard to come to terms with that. I mean, she certainly understands that she matters to Joel. I shot you in the butt. But I think it's quite heart-wrenching, especially, oh, you sneaky Pete, especially with Dina and everything that goes down with Dina. And we won't talk about that now. We will talk about that when we get there, because that is just a much longer conversation, and that relationship is so beautifully crafted and beautifully developed that I wouldn't want to truncate it here. What's up, bro? What you doing?
Where are you?
Hey, clearly behind this wall. Look around, and you'll find me. Okay, well, no one asked you. But mostly what I think is so interesting about Ellie, and I guess not so interesting about Ellie, but so interesting in particular to what I'm about to talk about with Ellie, is that Ellie also really does trust her gut instincts about people. And even though she is faced with someone like David, who basically his entire charismatic deal is to make her feel special, which is something, again, as someone that is constantly looking for meaning, it would be very easy to fall into that trap, I think, for her. But she trusts the instinct of no. Like, definitely not. I got a little trigger happy. Definitely not. There's something bad about this dude. I don't care that, that he's telling me that I'm special or whatever. This is a bunch of bullshit, because while I do want to find meaning so badly, I'm also not just gonna, like, I think there's also sort of it's like she wants to find meaning so badly, but she also kind of thinks that it's all bullshit. And so it's like there are these two warring parts of herself. which I find completely compelling and completely fascinating. And that, friends, is how you craft interesting characters. And that is why I find Ellie, I mean, not just that, there are so many reasons why I find Ellie so goddamn compelling, but that's definitely a main one. I Saw It Taken Part 2 is also about a journey to see herself as worth saving the way Joel saw her. I think his line about "I'd do it all over again" drives that home. It's him saying it to her, to her kiddo, "You're worth it all." Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I definitely think that that's something. It's why, I mean, those of you that read, that essay that I wrote, it's why I think the end isn't necessarily completely devoid of hope. Because I think that, yes, I mean, it's depressing.
How do I get out of here?
The entire thing is depressing. I mean, most definitely. But ultimately, she understands finally that she gets to sort of choose what her life means. And she gets to understand that it can be what she wants it to be. And that it can mean what she wants it to mean. And that she can, by nature of existing, be worth it. And she starts to see herself as the people in her life have seen her. As Dina sees her, as Joel sees her, as, everybody in Jackson and everything sees her. She can, even as Jesse sees her, and again, we'll get there. When I start breaking down Part 2, I'm not going to necessarily start doing that now as much as I would like to, because I think that story is beautiful.
Where's the way out?
But I do like that as we play through here and we're fighting, David's faction or his cult, we're getting more and more of a sense of the lengths at which Ellie is willing to go, really. To save Joel and to save herself, and understanding how much she's growing up in a good way and a bad way. BRB, all right, I will see you in a moment.
On this side of the law.
Oh, right, I have no sugar. Sneaky, sneaky. Did that guy just not notice me murder someone next to him? I mean, listen. I forget when I'm playing on easier settings that they are just completely oblivious.
There's the exit.
Don't get too excited, Al. You know what? Get excited. Who am I to tell you how to feel?
Keeping you alive here.
Are you? But it's interesting, actually, that he really does think he's keeping her alive. And he really is working hard with his group to try to keep her alive. I mean, it's very culty. You're back. Welcome back. Join us. Leave your fields to flower. I don't know if anybody got that reference. That was a very obscure, niche musical theater reference. I'm just chopping up people. Just gonna chop up some peeps. Keep you in this cage. Definitely not gonna chop you up.
How are you feeling?
Super.
Here. You should eat. I know you're hungry. Been out for quite some time.
What is it?
It's deer.
They really craft David
Some human
beautifully,
opening on the
from
side?
his animation, from the way that he looks, to,
No,
you know,
promise.
Nolan North's performance.
Dear
He
me.
he's perfectly creepy and also perfectly soft, and then can turn on a dime.
Awfully quick to judgment. Considering you and your friend killed how many men?
They didn't give us a choice.
I mean, he's not
And
wrong,
you think we have a choice?
and she's not
Is that
wrong.
it?
It's what's so compelling about this
You
world.
kill to survive.
I mean, David's creepy for
So
sure.
do we. We have to take care of our own, by any means necessary.
By eating people?
So now what? You gonna chop me up into tiny pieces?
I'd rather not.
Yeah, the
Please tell me
characters in
your
these games are so nuanced. I am here for it.
You're so full of shit.
I love that she calls him out. Ellie is so good at calling
Contrary.
people out. Not always at the best times, but
Been
it's definitely one of her strengths.
quite honest with you.
Yeah, you've been honest,
Now
but
I
you're
think it's
a
your turn.
bullshit artist at the same time. David.
It's the only way I'm going to be able to convince the others
Convince them of what?
that you can come around. You have heart. You're loyal.
Yep.
And you're special.
Yes, Furious. 100%.
Oh,
It's brilliant because it really sets Ellie up. You know, it's like we have this understanding that Ellie is so capable. 14 years old, and she is so capable. And she's given a chance to be capable, and we get to be capable with her. We get to play as Ellie as she comes into her true capability, which is
What am
so
I supposed to tell
beautiful
the others now?
from a gameplay perspective and from an audience perspective. That it's not something that we see.
Ellie.
We see a little bit of it here and there as we're traveling with Joel. We see her coming into her power more and more and
Ellie is
more,
the
and then
little
at the
girl.
climax of her coming into her power,
your
we
fucking
get to
finger.
take that power with her. I love Ellie is the little girl that broke your fucking
How'd you
finger.
get
I love that line.
Tiny pieces. See you in the morning, Ellie.
I love how Ellie is not shy about her capability, and she doesn't hide it. You know, it's like even from the very beginning, she's like, I'm good, I've got it, I'm capable, and Joel doesn't necessarily trust it. And, you know, I think most of the audience is like, she is capable, let her be capable. But that there might be a little wariness there, but that every step of the way we see her get more and more and more capable until the point that we get to take her power with her, like I said. And I think it's so beautiful from a story perspective. So many supplies, Joel. I have like a bullet in Grounded Part 2 right now, and I'm like, when should I use it?
Where the hell are you?
She's off saving your butt, Joel. Just as you would do for her. I don't know why I said that so judgmentally. I love that, you know, in this moment when we're playing as Joel, even if we are at full quote-unquote health, that, oh, I already saw that I was full of that. That he's still moving slowly because he was impaled. And that's just a nice thing to have in the game. So much of this game is experiential storytelling. It means so much more when you feel it as opposed to being told about it. Yeah, that's something that that I love about games. That is, and especially these games. I mean, as cinematic as these games are, you know, I mean, part one is more cinematic in the way that it tells its story in terms of like a 3-act cinematic structure than necessarily part 2 is. Part 2 is, as Neil has said, a little bit more like a novel. It's more sprawling, which I love. Like, I love that they experimented with different ways of telling these stories. Or this story, I guess. Or I guess these stories. But, you know, I love that even though with the Last of Us series, you know, because it's not more open world, or it's not more like, oh, you're having a conversation with this person and you get 3 or 4 dialogue choices, you know, choose one, that it's a little more like you're following these characters' stories, kind of, you know, pressing buttons when you're prompted. And, you know, making Joel's decisions as he makes them, making Ellie's decisions as she makes them, you know, making Abby's decisions as she makes them. I think the games do an incredibly good job of both making you ask the question of, oh, do I agree with this decision? And at the same time, going along with it and understanding why that decision is made. And being like, okay, yeah, I'll get on board, you know, with this. Oh, okay. I do that every time. I try to swap the way that you swap in 2, and that's not how you do it. And I love how experiential these games are, because they really just, that's such a beautiful thing in video games in general, that they just are naturally more experiential than a video game. Than a video game. They're more experiential than a movie, or a novel. I just realized that I said that wrong. That video games naturally have to be more experiential because you are playing as the characters, and I dig it so hard. You know, when they were talking about, I was talking about this recently, that when they were discussing how dark part 2 was going to go, you know, I was like, I am here for it. Give it to me. Give me the deep, give me the dark, give me the shadows, like, gimme, bring it. I'm so excited. You know, because it's like, part 1 is dark too. You know, it's not like part 1 is a thrilling, I mean, it is thrilling. That's the wrong word to say, but it's not like it's a jovial romp.
Keep searching. I'll have a look out here.
Did Last of Us 2, you're a participant as opposed to a spectator. Yes, I love that. Did Last of Us 2 live up to your expectations? My personal expectations, yes. I know that there has been quite a bit of controversy, but it really did. I think in many ways it exceeded my expectations, which is saying something, because, you know, Naughty Dog creates such incredible things that my expectations were quite high. And from a perspective of an emotional journey and really getting into the nitty-gritty of that emotional journey and how nuanced it is, especially in terms of Ellie and her PTSD, and really getting into that, I was like, they did not shy away from this. And I was here for it. I was like, this... You know, and then going so much into, you know, other aspects of the story and other characters in the story, into their emotional journeys and everything like that. I thought it was so stunning. I loved it. Did it live up to your expectations, Jolly? Ooh, I will take you. Ooh. Oh, right. Brick, did you watch that Last of Us trauma video? No, I didn't, because I lost the link. If you send it to me again, I will watch it, because I have been looking for it and I couldn't find it. Somebody pin it in Shannon's Discord. and I will definitely watch it because I'm dying to watch it. I spent like half a day looking for it.
Gotcha, asshole. Finish him off. Hold him still. Oh, shit.
And now we're gonna get a scene that we will come back to again and again, thematically.
You wait here.
This is such a beautifully
Now,
brutal scene.
the girl. Is she alive? What girl? I don't know no girl.
It's pinned in the Chaos Critters on the Discord. Awesome.
Focus right here, right here.
I'm gonna watch it later today.
I'll pop your goddamn knee off. The girl.
Oh, Chaos Clickers, right? Same difference.
Where? The town. The town. Now you're gonna mark it on the map. And it better be the same exact spot your buddy points to. Mark it. It's right there. You can verify it. Go ask him. Go on. I tell you, I ain't lying. I ain't.
Joel. It's so great that we get this scene here that we really kind of see. We see him become what we already know he was.
That's all right. I believe him. No, wait!
And that's something that he will pass pieces of that onto Ellie that we see in part 2. But that she can't quite do it the way that he has come to be able to do it.
I warned you.
I'm infected! I'm infected!
Really?
So are you. Right there. Roll up my sleeve. Look at it!
I'll play along.
Yeah, this is another scene which establishes the links Joel will go to, yeah.
Everything happens for a reason, right?
What the hell is that?
She would have turned by now. It can't be real.
Looks pretty fucking real to me.
It is so great that Ellie uses her immunity here, you know, to get her out of this situation, to distract them initially, and then to really, you know, whatever, get them arguing so that she can, you know, so that she can get away. Because I think it's something, I think I've talked about this a little bit in previous sessions, but Ellie has a very interesting relationship to her immunity, as even I discussed in this session, and it's something that I will discuss further, but that it's something that has provided her again and again with a second chance that nobody in this world gets. And it's something that is something that weighs on her considerably, and she uses it to her advantage, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't weigh her down sometimes to be in this situation of, you know, again and again and again being given these second chances and these second opportunities at life, and nobody else gets that, but she does. We see Ellie's wits here, yeah. Troy talks about the character description of Joel being a man who has few moral lines left to cross, and being a reference he kept coming back to for the character. Absolutely. She doesn't use it, but offers it. It's such a powerful tool to have in this world. Yeah. Yes, on both of those accounts, on what Ellie uses, and then on Joel having few moral lines left to cross. You You know, I mean, I think the fact of the matter is they live in the world in which they live. Many of them have few moral lines left to cross. You know, it's like a lot of Joel's journey in part 1 is a man who has few moral lines left to cross, and then Ellie's in part 2 is, God, a teenage girl, like a girl of 19, who has few moral lines left to cross. Which is like, when you think about that, so massive and so devastating.
You're gonna pay!
Oh, God. You know what? Sirs. One at a time, gentlemen. From a gameplay mechanic perspective too, I think it's great that they have us like outside in a blizzard. That is something, of course, that we'll come back into, you know, and what that means. You know, and that it's, oh, hello, sir. You know, that it's like we're experiencing this emotional upheaval for Ellie, and her coming into this new power. As we have this like storm raging, and as everything outside is gray, and foggy and hard to see through, the world is not only physically like that, but also metaphorically, thematically like that. Which I dig. I always dig when stories do that. You literally just looked back at me. Sir. I'm really enjoying hearing you talking about the game. Thank you. I'm really enjoying talking about the game. I dig these games so hard, man. I said it recently to someone, and I think I also like put it out on Twitter a bit ago, that for me, this series and these stories are like, I almost tried to just go prone and go under that car. Can't do that in this one. These stories, and particularly like Ellie's character in general, that for me they're stories of a generation. Like Ellie's journey, Ellie's complexity and her nuance is a character that we just don't get to see a lot. I mean, that's certainly true about Joel too, but talking about it from the perspective of a storyteller, and, you know, a female storyteller, we don't get a lot of female characters like that, period, in general. Never mind a character, never mind, you know, an LGBTQIA, you know, 2+, never mind a queer character who has the amount of complexity that Ellie has, and I just love it so much. Hello, sir. You know, and I think that these stories and these characters are important to talk about. You know, again, because... Oh, shit. They really kind of like gave up. Like, oh shit. I forget Ellie's not quite as strong and scrappy as she is in part 2. Oh, damn it. Anybody? Anybody? Yes.
Where are they?
You know, and I think it's so telling to have Ellie, again, have this journey in the winter, because, again, as I was talking about, you know, in terms of the weather and the snow and all of these things, you know, I love that this story is told in terms of the changing of the seasons, because I think that it's also a very big metaphor, you know, for the changing of the seasons in these characters' lives, you know, and how much not only Ellie grows, but Joel does too. And they both, I think, devolve in certain ways as well, as anyone in this world would have to. It's like they're constantly evolving and devolving in certain ways. And I find that incredibly compelling. Because that's what happens with people, you know, nobody's ever on like a trajectory of like, oh, I'm just, you know, personal growth or, you know, evolution, just going up. I never go back. I never do anything else. And I've talked about before on stream, the fact that many of these characters spend so much time living in Maslow's basement and they only crest out every now and then. And we will see that a little bit in Jackson. You know, certainly them kind of like cresting over and out into to different places in, you know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but that so often they spend so much time in the basement just trying to live and survive. And so it's like when you're doing that, there's only so much growth you can do as a person. You know what, David? You know what? You're easy to track, David.
How did you do it?
I'm scrappy.
It's all right.
Tremendous douche canoe.
Nowhere to go.
You want out? You're gonna have to come get these keys.
No, you're not infected. No one that's infected fights this hard to stay alive.
I gotta get these keys.
Oh, God, that was the wall. Ellie. That was my fault.
I see you. That was good, kid.
How quickly David turns. He's so creepy.
Be all right.
The way that he, like, slowly pulls the machete out. God, he's so fucking creepy.
You know, you keep surprising me. Shame you wouldn't come around.
Ew, I hate that he calls her Little Rabbit. He's so creepy. Oh, I keep forgetting that I can listen in this level, because again, I'm playing through part 2 on Grounded right now. My listen mode is disabled, so I keep forgetting that I have that ability. Hold on, y'all. He creeps me out so much. Yeah, me too. Sorry, I was pausing because chat was telling me that I had a message to be held, and I don't have anyone moderating. It's just me. Automod, hi. Yeah. I don't know why it held that message. He sits there so creepily. I like that we're left in the dark. Not in the dark, but we're left a little bit on like a little bit of a cliffhanger there, because it's kind of like, what happened? Look at this arrow just sticking out of the wall.
I can't see a thing. Searching. Look, the kid is deadly. We don't know where she's gonna turn up next. Just keep your eyes and ears open.
It's so weird that Ellie's like the only one with a knife in this world. No one else had a knife. Like, Joel has to make shivs. Sir. Control yourself, please.
Let's check over here.
Ooh. There was another one. I saw another one.
Right here.
Sir. I think it's such a smart, like we were talking about earlier in terms of Joel, quote unquote, like coming to Ellie's rescue or whatever. It's a smart storytelling choice to have us swap back to Joel before Ellie's sort of like completed the thing that she has done with David over there, because it adds this level of tension for us to get back to her. Like, okay, we've got to get back to her. We have to get back to Ellie. We don't know what's going to happen. And adds a little bit of like, you know, a savior complex that I think, you know, many of us have when we're playing games. You know, the idea that it's like, oh, we're gonna be the hero, we're gonna save the day, or whatever it is. And certainly Joel has that a little bit, you know, for Ellie, because he sees himself as her protector as much as she has been protecting him through all of this, through winter, which is the most brutal of the seasons. Again, that idea that in this season that is really, you know, so much about death, about rebirth, certainly as much as death, because we will come into spring and it will be a time of rebirth, but that in the moment right now, it's, you know, it's about death, and how harsh things can be and how harsh the world is. And to have this particular, you know, piece where they are separated for so long and Ellie is coming into her power and coming into taking care of Joel and protecting him as he has protected her, to have that in winter is such a beautiful metaphor and such a wonderful thematic choice. Brick. Data has just supplanted Chiz stream channel by Last of Us streams channel. I will share the link if you want. Yes, please do. Ah, Chiz. I will share the link of your Twitch channel in there if you want. Yes. Yes. Sorry, my brain had to wrap everything around Data and Chiz and what was going on. Yes, I would love if you would share the link of my Twitch channel in there. That would be amazing. I love to talk. I love to talk with y'all about, well, I guess I'm not talking with y'all. Who has kick to the head? Kick. Kick, what is up? Thank you for the follow. You're a rock star. Oh man, I didn't get him in the butt. There. Got him that time. Hello. Hello. Hello, Kick. Nope, not okay. Ooh, look, an arrow. An arrow in the snow. That's Ellie, an arrow in the snow. Thanks for joining me, fam. Look at this, 9 people chilling with us. I dig. He finds the backpack. Oh, Ellie's backpack. Look at it. Look at it.
What is this? Where the hell is Ellie's stuff here?
A dramatic reading of a meat ledger. March 23rd, 494 pounds. April 10th, 1,233 pounds. May 8th, 4,700 pounds. June 18th, 5,140 pounds. Big haul! September 29th, 1,630 pounds. October 2nd, 307 pounds. November 5th, 612 pounds. January 4th, 704 pounds. March 5th, 3,409 pounds. That's more like it. April 27th, 2,817 pounds. May 30th, 4,248 pounds. June 9th, 1,930 pounds. July 26th, 1,506 pounds. August 5th, 908 pounds. September 23rd, 240 pounds. We have to do better. October 12th, 305 pounds. Thank you. Hydration check. Yeah. Yeah, boy. Okay, what am I doing? Ugh.
Oh, Christ. I gotta find her. I gotta find her.
Yes, you do. Oh, my sure butt is coming out.
Ellie.
Ellie. And I like that in that moment now we go back to Ellie. I like that we've somehow moved out into this area, even though we were in the kitchen. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's sleepwalking, you know? This creepy sign that they have up with the "He shall provide." Talk about mirrors for things that happen in part 2.
I knew you had heart. You know, it's
Oh,
okay.
you have
give
no
up.
idea.
Ain't no shame in it.
No, she won't. Ellie doesn't give up. It's not in her DNA.
Guess not. Just not your style, is it? You can try begging.
No.
You.
You think you know me? Huh? Well, let me tell you something. You have no idea what I'm capable of.
Oops.
Stop! Stop!
Fucking touch me!
Okay, it's me. It's me. Look. Look. It's me.
He tried to...
Oh, baby girl. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh.
Ugh. Still gets me every time. it's such, it's such a short scene, but I love this shot. It's so smart for them to have it there. It says so much about Ellie and the violence. Ellie is, she's quite volatile in so many things, especially, emotionally. Even though she's quite quiet and inside herself, she always has this like volatile amount of emotions like bubbling around, and they come out in spurts. And I think that's so telling, that scene with David where it's like, she kills him to survive, and then she gets so much of her frustration and so much of her fear and so much of her anguish out past past him being dead.
Breeze, huh? I tell you, on a day like this,
And that Joel comes in in the aftermath, to be there for her in the aftermath of what she's done.
I reckon you'd really like that.
Yeah, I reckon
say,
you would
huh?
really like that, to play
Now that I'm
guitar.
talking to you.
Huh? Oh. Yeah, sure, that sounds great.
Gonna teach her how to play guitar. But that idea of him being there for her in these volatile moments is so important, and will become so important in part 2, when can I take that? Hello. When she kind of no longer has that. Oops. Am I full? Oh, I guess I must be full. I love that we, flash to spring now. A photo. Forgive us. Forgiveness. Huh. Interesting to see that on a photo right now, in this particular moment in the story, when I think Ellie is really contending with that in herself. She's quite far away physically from Joel, and she's quiet, and she's very internal, very in herself. And they will start having a little bit of a conversation here as I move forward. But now they're bonded as strong as if they were blood. Yep. I keep sinking down further and further into my chair. It's truly a well-built, beautiful relationship between them, and now coming into spring, again, as we were talking about in winter, so much about death and how harsh things are and all of these things, and we come into spring, this kind of rebirth and this new life, and we're seeing the vegetation again, and we see them together, and we see them together in that previous scene, and then we go forth into spring.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
We'll talk about flying
Tell me
first
about it.
before I continue.
So, I'm on this big plane full of people, and everyone is screaming and yelling because the plane's going down. So I walk to the cockpit, open the door, there's no pilot.
So telling about
I try
Ellie,
to
that she
use
still
the
tries to take control
controls,
in the dream.
I obviously have no clue how to fly a plane. And right before we crash, I wake up. I've never been on a plane. Isn't that weird?
Well, dreams are weird.
That's such a telling little piece of dialogue between them, again, because it tells so much about Ellie and the fact that it's like even in her dream, and even, as a kid, 14, 15, that in her dream, everybody's screaming and yelling and there's panic, and she sort of takes it upon herself to go to the cockpit, and then there's no pilot. It's this idea that, it goes back to Ellie being, I think I said this in my essay a little bit, but like Ellie, obviously earlier in this game, has expressed that she has this fear of being
Another
alone.
city, another abandoned quarantine zone.
And I think that extends further than just, physically being alone. I think Ellie a lot of the time feels quite emotionally alone, and I think certainly part of that has to do with the fact that she is the only immune person or whatever. And so she has this this sense of kind of being alone. There it is.
Won't get
So she has this kind of emotional distance between her and a lot of people, and feeling alone, and even in that dream, even surrounded by people on this plane, she's the only one that's stepping up and going forward and going to the cockpit, and she is still alone. Trying to control this thing that is getting out of control. And she can't control it because she doesn't know how to use the controls. I mean, talk about a metaphor for what we're going to go through with her in part 2. Because she doesn't understand the controls, things are just getting more and more out of hand. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful metaphor. There's a lot you can analyze about hospitals and health, both physical and mental, in this game. Oh, yeah. Things. I'm gonna pause very quickly. Wine time. No, I'm just kidding. It is 11:30 a.m. where I am. It is not wine time. But I do have to use the bathroom very quickly. So I'm gonna pause, and I'm gonna come back to y'all in just a moment. BRB. I will see you momentarily. Oops, I messed up my transition there. It's all right. Listen, we're all just people. Hello, I am back. I have returned. Hydrate, people. I worked on... I don't know why I said that. I worked on a movie last year, which, hopefully will come out when theaters start opening back up again, because I'm really excited about it. It's called Promising Young Woman. But our second AD would always run around set and like run around the trailer and just be like, hydrate, people. Hydrate, people. So now I say it all the time. I picked it up from him. And so I credit him for that. I have to go. Have a nice rest of the stream. Thanks, Jolly. Thank you for stopping in. We will try to have a nice rest of the stream. Oh, Ellie.
Everything all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, you just kind of
Yeah,
seem
you look
extra
fine,
quiet
Ellie.
today.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's not. It's fine.
I love how Ellie, can sometimes be quite expressive in certain ways. A lot of it is around confrontation when she feels like something inside of her has been, like when she feels like either someone is in trouble or someone that she cares for is being threatened, or that something inside her personally is being threatened. She immediately acts. But that a lot of her life is very internal. Who do we have here? I can't read it. Illegal. Oh, it's gone. Oh. Illegal IT alien. Or illegal it alien? I don't. The first one seems like it's probably illegal Italian. Got it. Third time's a charm. I can read, y'all. Hello, welcome. Thank you for following. But I love that Ellie, so much of her is so internal a lot of the time. I think it's fascinating, and it's different from the way that Joel is internal. And I think that that's such a beautiful kind of dichotomy between the two of them. And for Ellie, she defines so much of who she is, not only by this world that's inside her, but also by the things that she has done, and constantly trying to extract meaning from those things.
Ladder.
Whereas Joel is kind of constantly trying to forget about those things.
Ellie. Ellie.
What?
The ladder.
Right.
There you go. Yeah. Gotcha, illegal Italian. I got you. Hey, Tyrannosaurus Rex. How you doing? I'm getting your name right this week.
Oh my god.
What is it?
Ellie, I could have been standing right there.
Ellie. Ellie.
You gotta see this.
What is it?
I love this.
What the hell is?
Are you kidding me? Come on, hurry up.
In the Sam Hill.
What in the Sam hell?
see this?
Oh, this is such a beautiful moment.
Don't scare it.
I won't.
What are you doing?
It's all right. Come here. Hurry up. Come on.
Hey there. So fucking cool. Aw, where's it off to? Here, come on, let's go.
Slow down, kiddo.
Come on.
Hey, Elijah Peck. One, how you doing? Thank you for following. Welcome in. Finally made it home in time to catch your stream. Hey, Bank, how you doing? Happy to see you here. Everyone, welcome Bank. Bank and I have been doing we just finished this past Thursday a tabletop game called Spycraft, and we averted the Cuban Missile Crisis. Tyrannosaurus, you did it. I was about to play Avengers, but I saw you were streaming and I wanted to pop in for a bit. Well, thank you for popping in. Yes, Avengers. I have to get Avengers. I have to download it. So many things I have to download. But money, you know, my wallet. We have to be fiscally responsible here. You know, Shannon says so.
Oh, man. Wow. Look at those things.
I love the music here. It's so beautiful and it's so simple and quiet, and I think it's such a great storytelling moment to have this beautiful moment between the two of them here now, in between like the harshness of winter and now we're in spring, and before we get to the hospital again, where they've sort of sewn in that the theme of rebirth here with this like herd of giraffe. I don't know if they're called a herd. I don't know what they're called. If someone knows, let me know. But I think it's so wonderful to have this quiet moment of beauty between them in spring, in this rebirth, and we get to see how the world turns and goes on despite the fact that humanity has been absolutely devastated. It's like, well, the world is still going to heal itself, and it's going to take back what belongs to it. And in the middle of this city with everything, we have these mountains and these old derelict buildings and these fences that are falling apart. It's really nature reclaiming the earth, and it's so lovely. And it's so nice to get it in a moment where Ellie is already so introspective. It's great. Good, happy to catch it. We saved the world and all. Avengers is so good. I just started playing it last night. Yes. Yeah, Gustavo is so good. Oh, it's so... I mean, the music for these games is, cannot be overstated how beautiful it is. And the performances as well. I mean, everything. I mean, the animation, the performances, the writing. It's all beautiful. The music.
We don't have to do this. You know that, right?
What's the other option?
Go back to Tommy's.
A group of giraffe is called a
Be
tower.
done with this whole
A
day.
tower. I love it.
After all we've been through. Everything that I've done. It can't be for nothing.
I love that. That is so telling about Ellie, and the fact that we cut back now to, these, this tower of giraffes.
Look, I know you mean well, but there's no halfway with this.
Apparently, a
we're
group
done,
of giraffes is called a tower.
We'll
I
go
dig it.
wherever you want. Okay?
Well, I ain't leaving without you. So let's go wrap this up.
I just got chills. I love that. I love that between them, that we've played through you know, because we're coming to the end. We've played through this game and developed this relationship to the point where it's like they are not going anywhere without each other. Everything that they have done to stay together, and not just that Joel's done, but like Ellie said, everything that she's done, you know, and that it can't be for nothing. And I think that harkens back to what I was saying earlier in terms of that Joel doesn't necessarily define himself by solely his deeds. And there's a little bit of Ellie that does do that. You know, all of these things, it's like she cannot... she has a hard time, not that she can't, but she has a much harder time distancing herself from these actions and these things that she has done in terms of who she is as a person. You know, and that Joel in this moment is like, we don't have to do it, even though we've done all of these things. We don't actually have to go and do this. We can just leave. And that Ellie is basically saying, absolutely not. Everything that I have done has to mean something, like we were talking about before. It's so important to Ellie that things have
This place
meaning.
takes me back.
How so?
It was right after everything went down. I ended up in a triage just like this. Everywhere you look, just saw families torn apart. Whole damn world seemed to have turned upside down in a blink.
Is that after you lost Sarah?
Yes, it was.
I can't imagine losing someone you love like that. Losing everything that you know.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Joel.
Ellie.
That's okay, Ellie.
Oh, that line hits hard anyway, because it's a beautifully written line, and it's also Ashley is so vulnerable. She makes Ellie so vulnerable in that moment. But knowing what we're gonna go through in 2, just, that line just really is like, oh, Ellie. Guts me every time. Yeah, she needs meaning. Yeah, she needs meaning. That's something that I relate to a lot. You know, again, I've talked about it a number of times in stream that Ellie... what should we do? We'll do healing speed. That Ellie is someone that is very, very close to my heart as a character because I relate to her so much. You know, I relate to the way that she expresses herself. And I relate to that kind of immediate, you know, being immediately confrontational, and when you sense that something, either someone that you love very much is in trouble, or that something inside of you, you know, like some kind of a part of your moral code has been threatened, you know, that you act. I mean, I relate to that very strongly, and I just think that there's just so much in her journey, and especially here, in terms of meaning. That really drives her. Ooh, look. A map.
Time to go to work. That'll do.
It's so weird to be upgrading all of these weapons again, because I started playing a new game for this for some reason, not even a new game plus, just a flat out new game, and I'm like, oh, I haven't done this in a while.
Hey, Joel, I got something for you. Here. Maria showed this to me, and I stole it. I hope
Of course you did, Ellie. Look at them. Look at them.
guess you can't escape your past. Thank you.
That's such a beautiful growth moment for Joel, and says so much about what happened between them during winter. And again, hearkening back to this idea of spring and rebirth, you know, the fact that it's like when Tommy showed him that, it was a no-go. He immediately, like, he couldn't even look at Tommy. He could barely even look at the picture. It was just like, no, I don't want this. Take it. You know, and now when he's presented to it, when Ellie presents him, or when it's presented to him, when Ellie presents it to him, he takes it at this point. It's such a lovely little, again, it's such a small moment, but it's so nuanced and says so much about how he has grown, not only in his relationship with Ellie, but in his ability to open himself up again to Sarah and her memory.
Know it.
What do you mean?
They're gonna be there. The fireflies. I'm sure of it.
And now, you know, we've gone through so much in winter of fighting people and fighting, you know, these factions and stuff and these other groups of people. And I've talked before, and I think I talked even earlier in this stream about what that means in terms of gameplay and how it builds different relationships to the characters depending on if you're fighting people or you're fighting infected. And now to get back into fighting infected is a great choice here because we have been fighting people for so long. And, you know, we're trying to get through to these fireflies. We're like in the final stretch. And we are reminded again of what the world looks like with all of the... Oh, damn it. I got distracted. What the world looks like with all of the infected. And it harkens back to Ellie's immunity, which is really a huge part of this particular act. And just reminding us how important that immunity is and what the world looks like without it. And it's great to have it here when we're, you know, not yet at the hospital, but reminding us, hey, this is what you're fighting for. Remember, don't forget that even though we've been fighting people, that there are literal zombies. And it says a lot about Joel and that he's come far enough that he can accept the photo. Yeah, Furious. Yeah. Oh, guess I was spotted. You are rude, sir.
Follow me.
Whoa. No one asked you. Oh, no, I want you.
Stay quiet.
Stay quiet, because that wasn't, you know, loud or anything. I love the bow and arrow. It's my fave. That has nothing to do with story. I just like it.
Stay back.
Oh, of course, a machete as soon as I... Sneaky Pete's. How's everybody's weekend? I hope it's good. I hope everybody had a good week. Ah! Ooh. Burn them. I got a haircut. It was amazing. Yes. Good weekend so far. Not going anywhere. Just painting minis and playing Avengers. Yes.
I think you're right.
Darren's right.
All right, you think you can shove that crate down?
Yeah, I think she can handle it. We're gonna finish this thing today, y'all.
Okay. Look out below.
Hydrate, people.
Watch your step. That water looks pretty deep.
Hey, that's what we can do once we're done.
What's that?
You can teach me how to swim.
You got it.
And he will, Ellie.
I'm on the other side. All right, hold on.
I love it, and this is such a small thing, but I dig it. How their voices change depending on where they are, in terms of like the echo that they're given here in the subway. I'm into it.
All right, just stick to the edge. It's shallow over there.
Oh, okay. I love how none of those clickers hear the drop. I know. It's fine. It's fine.
Freezing!
And another jam door.
Always something in the way. If that's not a metaphor for this game.
All right. Give me a foot.
Okay.
Come on. Get that door open.
I love swimming with 50 pounds of gear. I know. Earn 2 when you're swimming with Ellie's backpack, and then she can just take out her journal and it's fine. It's a waterproof journal. Waterproof water. A waterproof water. Waterproof paper. Hello. I don't think I've picked up. No, I don't have that much stuff.
There you go.
Weed. Nope, I got plenty of that. So many supplies. A treasure trove. Yep, light that Molotov on fire and then put it in your pants. That's the way to do it. That's how I have been taught. The only way. Oh, where am I going? Ellie just like hanging out, cleaning her blade.
There it is.
There it is.
Just stay put.
Look at all these fishes. Even though we just like fought, you know, a bunch of those infected and had those bloaters, it's kind of nice here to get this extended quote unquote, kind of sequence of puzzles before we end up getting to the hospital, because I think it builds a certain level of dramatic tension in terms of like what's going to happen next. Is something coming? What is it going to be? Let's not get lulled into some kind of false sense of security. And again, I think it adds to this level of, you know, what we're facing now, besides people and infected, is about to be, as we've talked before, about them having faced a lot of physical barriers, you know, and certainly some emotional barriers, that what we're about to get to probably is going to be a big emotional barrier. In a big way. Oh, right, the ladder. How could I forget the ladder? Ladders. You got more supplies in that room than you get in a chapter on Grounded. Yeah, I practically got more supplies in that room than I get in all of Grounded.
Damn ladder broke off the wall.
Now what?
I'll figure something out.
I thought about streaming my Grounded run that I'm doing in Last of Us Part 2 right now, but I just feel like it would be mildly embarrassing, so I'm just not doing it. Just doing ladder things.
Oh, I see. Good idea.
Thanks, Ellie. I like how the arrows are always sticking right out of the backpack, too. I mean, obviously they have to be. It's not like it would be weirder if he put them in there and they just, you know, disappeared into the backpack. But it's so funny that, you know, it's like they're not really in there that strongly.
Oh,
Let me go ahead, and you follow my lead.
okay, right behind you.
Okay, come on, jump.
You're gonna catch me?
I got you. See? You didn't even need me.
Let's get the hell off this thing.
Yes, let's. I like that you can't jog here, so there's this, like, building tension of, oh, something's gonna happen.
Ellie, move!
Things always falling apart. Stuff always falling apart. I mean, to be fair, it's a rusty old bus. So small. Hydrate people.
Hands in the air!
She's not breathing.
Hands in the fucking air!
Come on.
That's such a beautiful mirror to the scene that we see at the beginning. You know, and that it's like this time he's like, no, I'm not going to comply. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to try to get her back.
Sorry about that. They didn't know who you were.
And Ellie?
She's all right.
Oh,
They
Marlene.
brought her back.
This scene.
You came all this way. How'd you do it?
It was her. She fought like hell to get here.
Yes, she did.
Maybe it was meant to be.
I lost most of my crew crossing the country. I pretty much lost everything. And then you show up, and somehow we find you just in time to save her. Maybe it was meant to be.
Merle's performance in this scene
don't
is
have
so
to worry
beautiful
about her
because
anymore.
she's so
We'll take
heavy.
care.
Don't worry. Just let me see her, please.
You can't. She's being prepped for surgery.
The hell do you mean, surgery?
The doctors tell me the cordyceps, the growth inside her, has somehow mutated. It's why she's immune. Once they remove it, they'll be able to reverse engineer a vaccine. A vaccine.
But it grows all over the brain.
It does.
Find someone else.
There is no one else.
So you were gonna show me where she...
Stop. I get it. But whatever it is you think you're going through right now is nothing to what I have been through. I knew her since she was born. I promised her mother I would look after her.
Then why are you letting this happen?
Because this isn't about me, or even her. There is no other choice here.
I mean, she's not wrong.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself that bullshit.
And he's not wrong.
March him out of here. He tries anything, shoot him. Don't waste this gift, Joe.
Get up.
That scene is so beautifully
I said get up.
crafted because the rage is so quiet in everyone.
Come on. Move.
I said move.
Yeah, the little head movement and the weight in her voice when she says it
me an
does. So
excuse.
good. Yeah.
Which way?
The fuck you doing? Keep walking. I said keep walking.
Where's the operating room? I ain't got time for this.
Where?
Top floor, the far end.
Ugh. And that's such a good end to that scene in terms of we have seen Joel so composed. You know, through almost the entirety of the game, he is incredibly stoic and incredibly composed, and he has now gotten to a point where, you know, maybe he's picked up a little bit of Ellie, as she has picked up a little bit of him, that it's just, when he's interrogating that guy, it's not as stoic as it was with the two guys he was interrogating to get Ellie earlier. It's suddenly become, it's like, I don't have time. I don't have time to play this game. I'm just going to shoot you, and I'm going to hope that, you know, if I shoot you again, that you get to the point where you're just saying stuff because you're about to die. Which is exactly what happens. Come on, bro. I'm literally right here. Wait a minute. No, nobody else saw me? So weird.
What do you think you're gonna do, huh?
Yeah, like he's not gonna try anything. Like, come on, Marlene. I mean, was there an easy way? Ah, shit. Ooh, y'all. That was close. Where are you? Oh.
I see him!
Yeah, I mean, I'm not particularly sneaky.
Surround him!
Oh, shit. God, there's a lot of you. Okay.
Holy shit!
Y'all, I died. Usually when someone yells because you caught them, the other gets alerted. I know. That's why it was weird.
Who is this guy?
Oh. His, like, boating hat. This is such a great sequence, because there are so many, like, dudes that you're fighting. And it really hits home, one, kind of the size of the Fireflies, you know, and what they're doing to try to make this, you know, to try to make this happen. But also, as we've been talking about, you know, throughout the entirety of playing this first game, not only the lengths that Joel will go to get what he wants, but also the things that keep continuously getting in his way, and how every step of the way they just become bigger and bigger, and bigger. And that what we're faced here with is just this massive group that he's up against. You know, to get his final, like, the final thing done.
Oh, shit!
Oh, okay. Sir. Oh, damn it. Oh, shit. I was gonna continue with that thought, but then I lost my train. Fine, we'll do it loudly. Oh, this dude. Ooh. Oh, right. Do I have a brick. I have a brick. I has brick. Oh, every time. No, nothing.
April 28th. Marlene was right. The girl's infection is like nothing I've ever seen. The cause of her immunity is uncertain. As we've seen in all past cases, the antigenic titers of the patient's cordyceps remain high in both the serum and the cerebrospinal fluid. Blood cultures taken from the patient rapidly grow cordyceps and fungal media in the lab. However, white blood cell lines, including percentages and absolute counts, are completely normal. There is no elevation of pro-inflammatory cytokines, and an MRI of the brain shows no evidence of fungal growth in the limbic regions, which would normally accompany the prodrome of aggression in infected patients. We must find a way to replicate this state under laboratory conditions. We're about to hit a milestone in human history equal to the discovery of penicillin. After years of wandering in circles, we're about to come home, make a difference, and bring the human race back into control of its own destiny.
Are you?
All of our sacrifices and the hundreds of men and women who've bled for this cause, or worse, will not be in vain.
I like that the surgeon just, like, the doctor just left that. Like, it's fine. So we'll leave this, like, sitting on a counter.
There you go.
I do think it's very smart to have these recorders that we find throughout the course of, you know, of the rest of this, because I think it just plays as like a reminder to sure, I'll heal and I'll grab this stuff and I'll make another it reminds us of the weight of these decisions. As if we weren't already, you know, fully there. I mean, I know I certainly am, you know, and I certainly was the first time I played this game. Oh, Marlene's recorder.
It's 5:30 p.m. on April 28th. I just finished speaking with, more like yelling at our head surgeon. Apparently, there's no way to extricate the parasite without eliminating the host.
I like that we get that scene in part 2, too.
Fancy way of saying we gotta kill the fucking kid. And now they're asking for my go-ahead. The tests just keep getting harder and harder, don't they? I'm so tired.
Marlene is so...
I'm exhausted.
Such a great character.
So be it.
And Merle as Marlene is so... Like, these recorders, they're just these moments. And she just so beautifully captures the weight of that decision. And everything about what all of these choices mean. You know, and I love that they very blatantly have that line of the tests just keep getting harder and harder, don't they? Because I think that really speaks to one of the big themes certainly in this, but in most of storytelling, which is, you know, your characters, or not even themes, just mechanically, as you're telling a story, you know, your characters are oftentimes going to try to take the easiest route that they possibly can, and that you have to put barriers in their way kind of every step of the way. And that, you know, for Marlene, you know, it's like Joel isn't the only one facing this decision. Marlene is facing this decision. And the surgeon is facing this decision. Everybody is facing this decision, really, except for Ellie, because nobody is just waking her up and going, hey, kid, what do you want to do? Because everyone's too afraid to hear the answer. Joel is too afraid to hear the answer. Marlene's too afraid to hear the answer. The Fireflies are too afraid to hear the answer because they think it's not going to go their way. You know, Joel's afraid that Ellie's going to say, yes, let them do it. The Fireflies are afraid that she's going to say, fuck this. Marlene's journal. We'll do a dramatic reading. I will not be as good as, you know, Merle, but we'll do it anyway. March 15th. We finally crossed the Utah border. In a couple of days, we'll be back with the others. Today, the crew was in much better spirits. I've been worried about their morale since Greg and Tanya's passing last week. It's good to hear them laughing again. Robin came up to me and said, "Thanks for watching over us, Marlene." It was a small gesture, but I needed it. Oh, okay. March 23rd. Ellie never made it. We arrived at the hospital. There was much celebration, at least from the others. I guess they're happy to see their old friends. We haven't seen some of these guys in over 10 years. After they told me the news, I couldn't eat. I couldn't talk to anyone. I should be grateful just to be alive, but right now I just want to shut my eyes for a bit. March 24th. They look at me and I know what they're thinking. That we're a bunch of incompetent grunts. What was I supposed to do? I thought I was going to die. My men were being hunted by the entire Boston battalion. I had to get her out of the city. How was I supposed to know the Firefly escorts were already dead? God damn it. I panicked. In the end, I healed pretty damn quickly, and my men were more capable than I give them credit for. More than a handful survived the Army's attack. I should have kept her with me. Instead, I handed her off to a couple of smugglers. I failed you, Anna. I failed all of us. I am an incompetent grunt. April 25th. I can't stand talking to any of them. I don't think I can take the stairs any longer. No way I can stay here. April 28th. One of our scouts just radioed in. He spotted an older man and a young girl entering the tunnel by the bus terminal. He thinks she might have had red hair, but he's not sure. What if it's her? Ugh, stop doing this, Marlene. The recon squad is about to head out. I'm going to join them. April 28th. When you're lost in the darkness, look for the light. She's alive. They're running tests on her now. I can't tell if I'm excited, scared, or just nervous. All I know is my hands won't stop shaking. It's great to get so much of that in her journal, especially after that scene that we've had with Joel, and that we've heard her talking on her recorder, because the weight of this decision is so much. It is so heavy, and you know, it's my personal preference that they don't shy away from that, because you're dealing with, okay, do you let him kill a child? Do you let him kill, you know, a teenager, or do you save her for the fate of humanity? You know, or for the potential fate of humanity. It's like no one knows. Don't know if this is going to work out. I also like that we stopped to listen to the recorder and we stopped to read the journal, and it's like, you know, Joel's really trying to get to Ellie. I mean, he's really trying to get through this thing. Oh, no, there is a door. Sorry that this is such a long span without me, you know, talking too much. It's just that story-wise, you know, I think we've gone over a lot of what we're looking at, but I guess we could talk about the moral gray that is... Oh. I see you. It is dark. The moral gray that is the decision of letting the child live or potentially saving the human race, which is a choice that I'm certainly happy that this game that we're faced with in this game, because I love moral ambiguities and gray areas. I think are incredibly fascinating, and you know, in this game especially, the stakes are high. Oh, well, sir. You know, and I remember the first time that I played this game and how excited I was to be faced with that decision, and how fascinating I thought it was that it's like, oh, we're really posing this massive question. And it was so cool because it leaves you wondering about Joel, you know, and it leaves you wondering about yourself and, you know, what is the choice that I would make in this particular situation. And, you know, in the case of this game, of course, we're not given a choice. You know, we're following along Joel's path and we're just playing Joel's decisions, essentially. Oh, this hallway. But I think it's one of those things that I love that games are doing this and have really started posing these sorts of questions, because I think it's a fascinating study in humans and what we would do. Oh, Marlene's recorder. We will play.
Hey, Anna. It's been a while since we spoke. I just gave the okay to proceed with the surgery. I really doubt I had much of a choice. Asking you is more of a formality. I need you to know that I've kept my promise all these years. Despite everything that I was in charge of, I looked after her. I would have done anything for her, and at times here's a chance to save us. All of us. This is what we were after. What you were after. They asked me to kill the smuggler. I'm not about to kill the one man in this facility that might understand the weight of this choice.
That's real.
Maybe he can forgive me. Oh, I miss you, Anna. Your daughter will be with you soon.
I love that recorder. It's so beautiful and so haunting. And it's written so well and it's portrayed so well. I mean, everything is so beautiful about that, just about Marlene. You know, it's like she calls him, and she doesn't even call Joel by his name. She just calls him the smuggler, but she still can't kill him because he understands the weight of the choice that Marlene has. It's like they are truly the only two people in this hospital, besides Ellie, who, again, no one is asking, who understand the weight, having the weight of the world and the weight of humanity on their shoulders. And it's so great to really, to hit us with it all once we get into the hospital. Like, it's something that we've been faced with the whole game, and certainly that I was thinking about, you know, most of the game. Of course, you don't necessarily think when you find out that Ellie's immune and that, like, this is the journey that, you know, necessarily it's going to be, oh, at the end, this is going to be life or death. But even as I was playing through the first time, it was something that kept popping into the back of my brain. I was like, are they going to go that far to an ultimate point of, if we do this, Ellie has to die? And of course they did, because that's the highest stake in storytelling you can give, and so that's what they chose. And I think it's so wonderful that we get these pieces of Marlene's journal and these pieces of these recorders, and, you know, that one recorder is the doctor and he's excited and he's hopeful and we're going to save humanity and all of this stuff. And we get Marlene on the other side who's going, I took care of this child. I took care of her for all of these years and I was so close with her mother. And I have to make this decision and it is tearing me apart. And so I'm going to let this man live. And we will find out the consequences of that once we do this. Marlene's decision to tell Joel was so consequential. Yeah, it really was. Her decision to tell him, her decision to leave him alive. So consequential. You know, and she's not wrong. She's not wrong in making the decision to tell him in terms of, like, he deserves to know. That's not a wrong, necessarily, quote-unquote, right or wrong decision to make. It just didn't go the way that she would have hoped for the decision that she is making overall. So it really hits home that it's like every little choice that you make has a consequence, and sometimes you think that it's it may be a completely inconsequential decision, but that it has a domino effect.
Doctor? What are you doing? I won't let you take her. This is our future. Think of all the lives we'll save. Don't come any closer. I mean it.
Oh.
Carrie, shut the hell up.
It's interesting. I've seen people be like, "Oh, well, I didn't kill the doctor. I shot him in the leg, or whatever." I too have shot the doctor in the leg. He dies. He dies either way. It's not like he goes down and cowers. He dies, no matter what you choose to do. Oh, look at Ellie. Look at her.
Come on, baby girl. I got you. I got you. Oh, shit.
Oh. Oh, the music. Like the true weight of what this is.
I got you. I got you.
Is so perfectly underscored with this music.
Tell me which way.
Oh, I just hit her head on the wall. It's fine. You're fine, Ellie.
We're okay. We're okay. We're okay.
I love that he's talking to himself. And talking to Ellie, because he's normally so stoic. And there are moments, of course, where he talks to himself, but mostly he's so incredibly stoic, and that in this moment, he's so badly trying to calm. He's like trying to calm Ellie, but of course he's really trying to calm himself. And it's such a good storytelling choice because it really shows us just how much he cares for her and how much he has grown and opened up and become vulnerable where Ellie is concerned. It's such a beautiful, like, full circle storytelling moment.
Even if you get her out of here, then what? How long before she's torn to pieces by a pack of clickers? That is, if she hasn't been raped and murdered first.
Oh, God, Marlene.
It ain't for you to decide.
It's what she'd want.
Such good arguments.
You know it. Look. You can still do the right thing here. She won't feel anything.
Ellie feels everything. Come on now. And he thinks, and he just can't. Oh, it's so... And that Marlene, like, to the end, really is just, like, is trying to convince him. And trying to convince herself, I think, is part of it, too. And it's so... Mwah.
What the hell am I wearing?
Just take it easy. Drugs are still wearing off.
What happened?
Where'd you guys get that car?
We found the fireflies.
You see in his eyes the decision. It's just...
Turns out there's
and what to say.
whole lot more like you, Ellie. People that are immune. There's dozens, actually. Ain't done a damn bit of good, neither. They've actually... They've stopped looking for a cure. I'm taking us home.
Yeah, as a father of someone close to Ellie's age, yeah, I would do the same damn thing. Yeah. Yeah, like, I think about my nephews, and I'm like... Like, it would definitely, I mean, it would definitely be... It's hard.
Wait!
Oh, Marlene. Joel.
Let me go. Please.
You just come after her.
Oh. It's like Marlene was able to do what Joel couldn't, and it cost her literally everything. Ooh. Alright, God, I love Marlene. She's such a great character. It, like, ripped my heart out when they killed her.
Looks like we're walking.
it's having that shot there where
Be a
she's,
straight shot through here.
you know, she's like playing with her,
It's actually kind of pretty, ain't it?
you know, her old scars and stuff like that is so beautiful and so meaningful because it's like Ellie's a bullshit monitor. She's a bullshit detector. And she knows.
Feeling my age now.
She knows something.
Don't think I ever told you, but Sarah and I used to take hikes like this. I think the two of you would have been good friends. I think you really would have liked her. I know she'd have liked you.
I bet I would have.
And again, I like that Ellie is she's very inside herself. She's very introspective, and like Joel's really trying to connect with her in this moment and so many things. And it's like even though he's feeling the weight of all these decisions, again, he's not necessarily someone that defines himself solely by like the things that he does or doesn't do. You know, and Ellie, again, constantly on this search for meaning, is left a little bit empty. And it's funny, you know, this could be partially because I think that Ellie is such a well-developed character and I feel so close to her, but I always joke that she's kind of like the sneaky protagonist of The Last of Us. I mean, there's certainly, you know, certainly we're following Joel and we're on Joel's journey and Joel's story, and so much of it is like the moral ambiguities of Joel, but it's like Ellie really kind of sneaks into your heart and into your brain and into so many things, into the discussion of the moral ambiguities.
Give me your hand.
And, you know, I will continue in a moment.
Hey, wait.
This scene.
Back in Boston? Back when I was bitten? I wasn't alone. My best friend was there. And she got bit too. We didn't know what to do. So... she says... let's just wait it out. You know, we can be all poetic and just lose our minds together. I'm still waiting for my turn.
Ellie.
Her name was Riley, and she was the first to die. And then it was Tess. And then Sam.
None of that is on you.
You don't understand.
I struggled for a long time with surviving. And no matter what, you keep finding something to fight for. Now, I know that's not what you want to hear right now.
Swear to me. Swear to me that everything that you said about the Fireflies is true.
I swear.
Okay.
It's such a good moment, and it's such a good end, and it's so ambiguous. But I remember the first time that I watched it, and I got to that end. I mean, it is ambiguous, and I know that that's what they were going for. But I was like, she knows. She knows that something is up. I mean, the way that they crafted the scene beforehand, and them walking through the woods, and how kind of quiet and introspective she is. There's something that she knows. Because again, she's like a bullshit detector, and so it's not about figuring it out here for her. It's like she figures it out here, and then kind of puts it together. And this music, it's such a great ending for Ellie, especially in terms of, again, saying like all of these things that we have done, all of these things that have happened. You're not getting it. It's not about just the fact that we're fighting to survive and we're fighting to survive. It's that, what does it mean now? If there's nothing here, then what does it mean? And it's such an interesting dichotomy between the two of them, because Joel doesn't really do that in terms of like the meaning. You know, and it's like that's all that Ellie runs on. And so there's a slight disconnect between them, you know, and it's like this is kind of the first thread, obviously, you know, and him making that decision really drives a wedge that we'll see in part 2 when we get there. But it's so well done, and that scene is so well crafted. And I remember too the first time playing, because of course, you know, I mean, this is they didn't talk much about like Ellie's sexuality when the game first came out, because she's a kid. But I remember, and I said it earlier when we were playing through an earlier section of the game, that when she's looking through the magazine, that was the first time that I was like, she has an interesting reaction to this magazine. This kid, I think, is queer in some way. You know, and then there's a little bit of it when she's like reading the journal before she and Joel have the fight in that farmhouse, you know, where she like kind of has a disconnect between like, you know, people writing about outfits and boys and all of this stuff. But I think that there's a part of that would be natural to any kid that lives in this world. But then I remember specifically watching this last scene when she talks about Riley and like the words that Riley chooses, the let's be all poetic and just lose our minds together. And I was like, she was in love with her friend, and that is heart-wrenching. And it's so beautiful and so nuanced, and so lovely. And Ashley and Neil's performances in that scene in particular, that last scene, is so beautiful, because you can tell that Troy has imbued Joel with sort of this, like, he's holding back a little bit because he's lying to Ellie, and so there's like a little bit of it like gets caught a little bit in his throat. And Ashley is really at this point of pleading, you know, she makes Ellie really like plead with him in saying, hey, oh look, Laura Bailey, we'll see you again. You know, saying like, you have to tell me the truth. And it's so beautiful, and really just, it infuses part 2, of course, with everything, which is so great. Yeah, the eyes, the music, masterful. And yes, I do think that's the first time really that he says Sarah's name, is in that woods scene. So look at that. We finished the game today. Next week we'll do Left Behind. We'll probably be able to get through the whole thing, I think. And then, you know, the weeks after that we'll start really digging into part 2. Yeah. So thank you for coming and watching me play through this and talk about story, and just let me drone on and on and on about this story and storytelling and crafting storytelling, and how incredible I think this game is, and the actors, and, you know, the whole creative team, and the animators and all the engineers and everything. It's just, I lose my mind over it. So thank you for coming. I love you all very much, and I will see you at the next one. Have a good week. Maybe I'll try to sneak in a stream during this week, because I'm, as of right now, unemployed until the show that I was supposed to go on to kind of picks back up. I'm sort of in an awkward in-between period that was sort of dropped on me at the last minute because of some certain events that happened with the show that I was supposed to go to. But hopefully that will get solved within the next few days, and it won't be a big problem. But that is where I am right now. So maybe I will stream kind of next week in the middle of the week or something. But I will see you all later and next week, and thank you for joining. I adore you all very much. Totally enjoyed the stream and the breakdown of the story. Well, thank you. Oh, thank you for the hearts kick. Yeah, it is beautiful, Halo. And I'll see y'all next week. Stay healthy out there. Stay excellent. I love you all very much. Brick is the best. Thanks, Halo. I'll talk to y'all later.